Hello, I'm Ali Langdon. Welcome to A Current Affair. When Rosie and Gary got a call from childcare to pick up their son Luke, they had no idea what was about to play out. A broken leg, trip to the hospital and a police investigation where they were accused of hurting their baby. Luke could well have been taken from them had the whole distressing incident not been caught on camera.
It's confronting footage. A baby supposedly safe in the arms of a childcare worker. Watch as the carer trips, falling forward. We won't show you the impact. It is simply too disturbing. The baby bursts into tears as the carer gets to her feet, picks the infant up and goes about her business. And this is the child care worker, Mira Jane.
Are you worried you might go to jail, Miss Jane?
I think she should have went to jail.
This is a story that shouldn't have to be told. It's the story of a care worker who covered up this horrible incident, leaving the parents to initially cop the blame.
It was guilty until proven innocent.
It was horrifying. It wasn't. No one deserves that.
A mother and father, loving parents who came so close to having their little boy taken off them.
I'm trusting someone else with my baby. And for them to just let down my trust like that, that's not on.
To look at 8-month-old Luke today, you'd never imagine that he was at the centre of a major police investigation. By law, we can't identify the young family. We've given them pseudonyms.
I got a call from the centre saying our son had been out of sorts, and I said, oh, I'll come and pick him up then.
Luke had been at the Playbase Early Learning Centre at Dapto, south of Sydney, when his mum Rosie got the call.
When I picked him up, he was visibly out of sorts. We put that down to teething.
He was still out of sorts the next morning.
In the morning I went to change his nappy and I noticed there was a bruise on his knee. I mean, oh, that's a bit odd. And then I realised he was kicking his left leg and not his right.
Gary and Rosie took Luke to Wollongong Hospital, expecting him to be x-rayed.
The hospital done a visual check. They said they didn't want to expose him to radiation, being at such a young age, if they didn't need to.
They were sent home with Panadol and told to see their local GP if Luke's discomfort continued.
So we straight away booked into the GP. He had a look, he sent us straight for an x-ray.
It was discovered little Luke had what's known as a green stick fracture to the top of his femur. The young family was on the way back to Wollongong Hospital when Rosie called the daycare centre with a simple question.
Can you please go back to the staff, look at the cameras, please? Can you let me know if you find anything? The director said straight away she'd have a look and that she would also speak to staff again and she would get back in contact with me.
And did she do that?
Yes, she did.
What did she say when she got back in contact?
She said there was no video available that she could see, and the staff had advised her that there had been no incident.
So she basically told her nothing had happened to the daycare?
As far as she was aware, that nothing had happened.
Okay.
But Gary and Rosie weren't convinced.
I was pretty content in my own mind that something had happened at the school that day and that whatever it was unlikely to be malicious.
It was when they arrived back at Wollongong Hospital that their world fell apart. The staff suspected them of abusing Luke. This is what they were told.
Because yous don't know what happened, we don't know what yous have done, we don't know anything like that. Police are going to get involved.
They were the prime suspects and weren't permitted to take Luke home. A full investigation was launched.
I don't think as a mother I've ever felt more broken, knowing that we had no idea how it happened, knowing we were looking at facing potentially losing our son if there was no answers that were able to be provided through no fault of our own.
All I wanted was answers, and to tell you the truth, we were just treated like second-grade citizens. We were treated like junkies. The way that we were spoke to, like it was...
So in your mind, there would have been no doubt they thought you were responsible?
Yeah, 100%. We were even getting looks from people in the hospital, like everyone knew what was going on, they talked between themselves sort of thing.
They say there was little to no communication from hospital staff.
It must have been at that point where you've really gone, oh my God, you know, you might lose your little boy.
It was very, very lonely, very, very isolating, not having that communication, and there was, for us, a lack of clarity, I suppose, on what was going on.
Luke ended up staying in hospital for 2 nights.
We weren't allowed to take him. We had to sign paperwork to say that we would not physically take him from the hospital until we were told we were allowed to.
The next day, Child Abuse Squad detectives contacted the couple and told them evidence had been discovered which cleared them. Police had forensically and technically examined the daycare centre's CCTV and discovered vision the director had not seen. It clearly shows little Luke colliding with a piece of furniture, causing the leg fracture. The worker, though, failed to report it.
How will you plead? Are you going to plead guilty?
27-year-old Mira James was charged with neglecting a child in care, a charge carrying a maximum of 2 years jail. She faced court and pleaded guilty. Magistrate Mark Douglas told her the police wanted her sent to jail. This is blatant offending, he said, founded on selfish preservation. In the end, she was put on a 2-year community corrections order and has to do 200 hours community service.
Have you got anything you'd like to say to the family of the young child?
The daycare centre and its director have been cleared of any wrongdoing. James' employment terminated.
I think we all agree it was an accident, but is it good enough that it developed into what it developed?
Oh, not at all. He had a broken femur for a week before anyone knew anything. Within hours, we could have had him, you know, in care, not in pain. He's a baby. You don't hide that sort of thing.
Daycare centres and carers have a duty of trust, don't they? They've got a duty of trust they've got to maintain.
Of course. I'm sceptical about taking him there in the first place. Like, it seems like a very good childcare centre, don't get me wrong, but it's still my baby.
How do you feel towards the carer now?
I understand why she may have made the choices that she made, but it's not good enough. It's not good enough. And she had a duty of care towards our son, and that was breached in the biggest of ways possible.
It should never happen in the first place.
But she has to live with that. She has to deal with that. And we're not the only ones, I suppose, that have to suffer through this as well.
If only Mira James would have owned up in the first place.
Had she reported it, like, don't get me wrong, we wouldn't have been impressed, but accidents happen. Accidents happen at the end of the day, and it would have allowed us to get the medical intervention that was required. It didn't have to come to this. And I'm angrier about the fact that it's had to come to this point than anything else.
Little Luke spent 3 weeks wearing a plaster cast on his right leg. Today, he's your typical about-to-be toddler.
He's going really well, actually, as much as it doesn't seem like it at the moment, because he's just woken up, but no, he is doing very, very, very well.
Gary and Rosie know all too well that if it wasn't for the police investigation, they could have lost custody of their son.
They were so good to us. They treated us with respect from the get-go. They were very supportive. They did everything within their power.
That's Jim.
I think it's important to highlight that other parents do need to remain vigilant, and don't be afraid to, reach out to your childcare provider. No one needs to be in the situation we have been in.
Yeah, it is not the accident. We all know they happen, but the cover-up that so nearly ripped apart this family. And it's scary how this may have played out had the camera not been there.